Board members, we all set? Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Community Unit School District 300 Board of Education, I would like to thank you for being in attendance, both virtually and in person, for tonight's board meeting. At this time, I'd like to reconvene the meeting of the Community Unit School District 300 Board of Education to order for Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Burkett, present. Fiorentino.
Present.
Gothier.
Present.
McKindy.
Present.
Scarpino.
Present.
Thomas.
Present.
Zettler.
Present.
We have 7 board members present.
Thank you. Dr. Harkin?
Yes, I would like to invite Principal Adrian Harries to the podium to introduce tonight's pledge leaders from Perry Elementary School.
Nice shirts.
Not on. Here. Hold on, hold on.
Check, check. Check, check. You want me to just use my bass? All right. Good evening, D300 Board of Education. Good evening, Superintendent. Good evening, D300 community. We started out the year led by Mr. Vaziri and Ms. Pichardi with our students actually working with our staff to cultivate the rules that would govern our school. So it actually gives me great pleasure tonight because these are students that not only helped to establish the rules, but did a wonderful job in following them. But if I'm honest, if we just went off of that, there would be about 200 kids up here. So we had to add another layer of criteria to select our 8 that you see before us. And that was students that had perfect attendance. And so these students, have both perfect attendance and not a single disciplinary referral all year. So they truly represent what we at Perry
Awesome.
And so I can introduce our wonderful young men, young ladies. We have Demariana Crawford. We have Dakai Johnson. We have Liam Shalmoser. We have Kaylee Jackson. We have Natalia Balloon. We have Kate Jackson. We have Luis Nunez Mazaregos. Was that close? Thank you. And we have Pedro Oliveira Rodriguez. And these are our Perry students. And we also have Mr. Vaziri and Ms. Pichardi. Mr. Vaziri will lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance. First hand, face the flag. Ready, guys?
Nice job.
Congratulations to you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Nice job. I'm so proud of you.
Testing.
Parents, feel free, if you want to be with your kids, you can. There you go, and then we're just going to continue on. Dr. Harkin?
I think the next item
No,
is...
I'm sorry, the approval of the agenda. There have been no changes to the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Zettler.
Aye.
Burkett. Aye. Gothier.
Aye.
McKindy.
Aye.
Scarpino.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Dr. Harkin?
Yes, next I'd like to introduce Dr. Martina Smith and Mr. Jorge Almodovar to recognize our Perry Elementary staff. So I'm kind of sad that the kids are leaving, but hopefully they'll see their teachers out there and we can celebrate that part.
Good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent Harkin. Tonight we want to recognize the efforts and hard work of the staff at Perry Elementary School, so we're just going to keep that positive celebration train rolling. Last year, as you know, as I was up here speaking to you many times, Perry Elementary received a school designation of comprehensive when we received our designations from the state. A school with this status is designated as performing in the bottom 5% of Title I schools in the state of Illinois. When you are brought into this status, it initiates a school improvement process in a 4-year cycle. Last October, when we started our work at Perry Elementary School with the staff, with your support, with many district staff support, we had people wrapping their arms around that building, and it's specifically that staff within the building. We were able to put some strategies in place instructionally and add some minutes to math and literacy. And we have been able to exit that comprehensive status in 1 school year, and we are now back up to commendable at Perry. I would just like to say it is the evidence of when we focus on something intentionally and we put that time and that effort behind what we said we were going to do, these are the results that you can see. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that with your support, Superintendent Harkin's support, Mr. Mike Williams' support, many other district staff, instructional coaches, and most importantly, the hard work of Perry staff and students, again, we have reached that commendable status, and I will now turn it over to Mr. Jorge Almodovar, who is now the Assistant Superintendent for Title Schools that's supporting Perry. So here you go.
Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Harkin.
Hey.
So first of all, I do want to thank the board and all the support that you guys have provided to Perry Elementary School. As Dr. Smith mentioned, Perry Elementary has reached the commendable status in the school designation, and we're here to celebrate that effort that all of these people representing Perry have put forward. And also, you also see also the, Ms. Rowling, can you please also join? Thank you. You're part of this celebration. So we do want to recognize all their efforts because they have make a lot of changes, and also we've seen it all with our students tonight. So thank you so much. With us tonight, we have Kristen Fadden, Annie Barr, Jacob Sabran, Noah Rufer, Andrea Meir, Sandy Weston, Nicole Mergens, Mandy Thalhammer, Lisa Feldman, Maggie Thompson, Stephen McDonald, and I know somewhere I saw in the room also Lorena de la Hoya as part of our team for Perry. And most importantly, also our former principal, Mrs. Susan Rowling.
Thank you very much.
That's a tremendous achievement going
Yeah.
from where they were to where they are. That's outstanding faculty. Good job. Good job.
Yes, Dr. Scarpino, that was a huge effort that was put on by all of the people that Dr. Smith mentioned, and I'm really grateful that we're in this place tonight to celebrate them. Next on the docket is another exciting time. I'm sure some of you are sitting in the room thinking, how the heck did I get to be 30 years in School District 300? So we do this annually. So tonight, the District 300 Board of Education has the honor of recognizing staff members who have served the district for 30 years. And on behalf of the board, I would like to thank each of you for your hard work, talent, and commitment to our school district and your dedication to our students and community. At this time, the process will be is I will call each individual up and read a little bit about why we believe they're an amazing staff for School District 300. So the first person, if I can have Renee Burrow. If you would, please proceed to the front of the room. We love to torture people, so you're going to have to stand up here. And I'll wait till you get all the way up to the very, very front. And I'm assuming you have family with you tonight? Excellent. Come, you got to stand right in the middle. Sorry. I know. And this is the best part of education, right? You don't do this to get, right, that type of acknowledgement, but you're going to get it tonight. So congratulations. And is it Burrow? Burrow, sorry. So congratulations to Renee Burrow, who currently serves as a second grade teacher at Westfield Community School. Westfield Principal Jennifer Breeze has shared the following about Renee. Renee is truly an inspirational educator. She has dedicated many years to District 300 as an elementary teacher, most of which were served at Westfield. Renee embraces every day with a positive attitude and a true passion for learning. She is an inspiration and role model to the other educators through her hard work, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Renee is an outstanding educator who has high expectations for herself and her students. She works tirelessly to ensure that her students are successful and develop a true passion for lifelong learning. Renee has made a significant impact on the lives of young people in the D300 community. At this time, I invite the audience to join me in celebrating Renee Burrow's 30 years of service to District 300.
Renee, congratulations to you.
And so every one of them tonight will receive a plaque and a little certificate for their years of service. So thank you so much for all that you do.
And I just want to point out that Renee is a little bit of a fraud because she's not old enough to have worked here for 30 years. My oldest daughter, both my daughters, I believe, had her in second grade. And my oldest daughter is 27. So.
So next up, if I could get Lisa Dwyer to come to the front of the room. Again, another person. I think we've got some anti-aging things going on in this district. See, it isn't stressful being an educator. You get to look like this. So congratulations to Lisa Dwyer, who currently serves as a math teacher at Jacobs High School. Jacobs principal, Dr. Christopher Testoni, has shared the following about Lisa. Lisa has been a staple of the Jacobs Math Department during her long and illustrious tenure. Her influence on students has been immeasurable, spanning from the most advanced students who have attributed to their success in college level calculus to countless students who simply didn't think they could do math until they experienced her class, which left them with a newfound sense of self-confidence. Her influence is extended beyond the classroom to the volleyball court, where she motivated and inspired student athletes for years. The Jacobs community has been blessed to have been benefited from her authentic heart for kids and dedication to the district. At this time, I invite the audience to join me in celebrating Lisa Dwyer's 30 years of service to District 300. All right. Next up is Rosemary Frank. And Todd, you might want to turn it down in here. It feels a little warm. I don't know what's going on, but it's an exciting night. So, congratulations to Rosemary Frank, who currently serves as a speech pathologist at Lincoln Prairie Elementary School. Lincoln Prairie Principal Siri Bernacki has shared the following about Rosemary. Rose is a fantastic speech language pathologist who wants the best for every student she works with at Lincoln Prairie. She displays a genuine kindness and caring and finds ways to make the skills she is teaching fun and engaging. She primarily works with our students in preschool and in the life programs, and she is a huge advocate for them, always willing to go above and beyond to support their needs. Rose embodies everything you could want in an educator, and we are honored to have her at Lincoln Prairie. So at this time, I would ask the audience to join me in celebrating Rosemary Frank's 30 years of service to District 300.
Rose, congratulations.
Are you sure that this is 30 years and not 3?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I don't know. There's some secret elixir going out there. All right. You got it. So next up, Armando Gutierrez. If you'd come forward, please. I'll put you in the front like everybody else. So, congratulations to Armando Gutierrez, who currently serves as a day custodian at Dundee Crown High School. Dundee Crown Principal Katie Wachowski has shared the following about Armando. Armando is a very dedicated and hardworking member of the Charger staff. He has cared for students, staff, and our facilities for many years. We are grateful for his years of service. Congratulations. At this time, I ask that you celebrate Armando Gutierrez's 30 years of service in the district. Here you go. And I think this is another person, there's a lot of people out in the audience. So Tracy Kopetsky, please come forward. Really nice to see so many people out to celebrate these people as well, too. This is great. So congratulations to Tracy Kopetsky, who currently serves as a middle school physical education teacher at Westfield Community School. Westfield Principal Jennifer Breeze has shared the following about Tracy. Tracy is not only an exceptional educator, but she is also an exceptional mentor, leader, and role model for others. Tracy's commitment to see her students and players succeed goes well beyond the call of duty. Utilizing her personal time to tutor, coach, and mentor students are a few examples of Tracy's commitment and dedication to the District 300 community. All students are better prepared as a result of having Tracy as their teacher. Tracy is an outstanding educator who has made a significant impact on the lives of young people in the District 300 community. There are no words that can truly express the level of commitment and dedication. Thank you, Tracy, for your 30 years of outstanding service. So thank you.
Tracy, congratulations to you.
And just so you guys know, Tracy also this year, her display of her house at Halloween decorations won the contest in West Dundee, and it was really, really good. It was Dead and Breakfast, I think was the theme. It was really good.
Awesome. All righty. Next up, Julie Liebengood. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. All right. So congratulations to Julie Liebengood, who currently serves as a fourth grade teacher at Hampshire Elementary School. Hampshire Elementary Principal Jennifer Nolan has shared the following about Julie. Students, staff, and families of the Hampshire Elementary School have had the privilege of being on the receiving end of Julie's service and dedication to teaching for 30 years. At HES, Julie taught third grade for 1 year, second grade for 19 years, and now fourth grade for the last 10 years. She takes a genuine interest in her colleagues and students, exemplified by her work to create strong relationships. Julie has devoted these years to the most challenging yet rewarding profession, and HES is grateful for her leadership and efforts to form strong relationships with colleagues and students. Hampshire Elementary School is extremely proud of Julie, and at this time, I invite you, the audience, to join me in celebrating Julie's 30 years of service to District 300.
When I was principal at Hampshire Elementary, Julie was one of my teachers, so that's why.
Sorry about that. Congratulations. Appreciate all you've done. All right. Next up, Linda Marr. So, congratulations to Linda Maher, who currently serves as a fourth grade teacher at Eastview Elementary School. Eastview Principal Dr. Megan Buchanan has shared the following about Linda. Did I see Lisa before? I think I did. I apologize for that. Okay. Linda is the epitome of an elementary educator. She is warm, kind, and caring toward all of her students and peers. Linda is one of the most dedicated and hardworking teachers at Eastview and is an incredible example to others. We are grateful to know and work with her. Congratulations on 30 years. All right, next up is Dr. Mandy Fallhammer. Probably both. She said she is not sure if she should laugh or cry. So, congratulations to Dr. Mandy Thalhammer, who currently serves as a first grade teacher at Perry Elementary School. Perry Principal Adrian Harries has shared the following about Mandy. For the past 30 years, Mandy has been a pillar of academic excellence for Perry Elementary School. She has served as both an instructional coach, supporting the staff at Perry, and as a grade-level teacher, serving the needs of generations of students. Mandy's knowledge of data-driven instruction has helped many find success throughout the halls of Perry and within District 300, whether that be with students or staff. Her dedication is appreciated, and we are lucky to have had the opportunity to learn with and from her and continue to learn from her for the past 30 years and the future, whatever that may hold for us. Not 30. 4, okay, all righty, well, we'll take that. At this time, yeah, exactly. At this time, I invite the audience to join me in celebrating Dr. Thalhammer. What a great night to celebrate. Sorry about that. Great job. All right, and that concludes our people that were here for the 30 years of service. All right. And we'll let them clear out until we start the
Yeah.
next portion, if that's okay.
Back here, right?
Where'd Tella go? Is she out there? Oh, it's like, where'd she go? Too much celebration. Did you watch the video?
Okay, Dr. Harkin.
All right. Next, we'd like to just acknowledge the various groups that had special days or will have special days in November. So in November, District 300 recognizes 4 observances for specific employee groups. First, on November 6th, our district celebrated National School Psychologist Appreciation Day, which is dedicated to recognizing and honoring the invaluable contributions of school psychologists who play a crucial role in the well-being of students and our entire school community. Our school psychologists serve as advocates for our learners, often collaborating with teachers and parents to implement strategies to enhance student success. Second, on November 8th, our district recognized Parents as Teachers Day, an observance highlighting staff members who provide educational services to parents so that those same parents can better support their children's learning and growth. These dedicated employees are based out of the DeLacy Family Education Center and work with families throughout the district who have prenatal children up to age 3. And that's a new group that we identified that there was a special day for them and certainly wanted to acknowledge them. Tomorrow, on November 15th, the District 300 will celebrate National Education Support Professionals, which highlights the invaluable contributions of our secretaries, specialists, administrative personnel, food service personnel, paraprofessionals, and hall monitors. The unwavering commitment exemplified by these employees helps ensure smooth school operations and a well-rounded education for our students. And finally, on October 17th, our district will recognize Substitute Educators Day, which provides an opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation to the dedicated substitutes in District 300. These remarkable individuals play a vital role in maintaining continuity of education as they ensure our students receive important instruction in the absence of their regular teachers. In addition, they bring invaluable insights to our buildings, enriching the learning experience for our students. So please join me in thanking our school psychologists, Parents as Teachers Day, Educational Support Professionals Day, and Substitute Educators Day. Additionally, I do want to commemorate Veterans Day, which was held over the weekend on November 11th, and I wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for the tireless commitment and selfless service of our brave veterans who have dedicated their lives to protecting our freedoms and values. On behalf of District 300, I would like to thank the following members of our District 300 family who have self-reported their military service: Randy Bruce, Jacob Crenshaw, Ilham Daweh, Everlyn Dodson, Dana Garnett, Louis Gonzalez-Gavin, Gregory Hartzog, Eric Hunt, Kyle Lobdell, Daniel Martins, Felicia Maxa, Stephen Nakamura, Nathaniel Nielsen, David Nowak, James O'Reilly, Leander Portocalis, Eric Quandy, Robert Quitno, Kenneth Ransom, Stevie Rivera, Dr. David Scarpino, Kirk Shurik, Vincent Saratella, Katrina Shador, Vince Cifuentes, Thomas Sitke, Jason Smith, Michael Storr, Emmanuel Thomas, Stephen Trisler, Daniel Vital, and Daniel Wagner. Please join me in expressing gratitude to our veterans. Thank you for your dedication and service to our country. And last but not least, I'll have Dr. Smith come up to the podium because it's Thank a Board Member School Board Members Day.
Okay, gotta make sure I got it all together. Tomorrow, November 15th, is School Board Members Day in Illinois. I'm thrilled to add this to our recognition for the evening as we celebrate the D300 Board of Education. On behalf of our staff, students, and our community, District 300 would like to extend our deepest, most sincere appreciation for each of our board members. Thank you, Board President Dr. David Scarpino. Thank you, Board Vice President Nancy Zettler. Thank you, Board Secretary Christine Burkett. Thank you, Board Member Steve Fiorentino. Thank you, Board Member Randy Gauthier. Thank you, Board Member Tola McKinde. And thank you, Board Member Mr. Emmanuel Thomas. Our board members volunteer their time and they serve out of passion to impact public education for our community. They do this without getting any money. It is all volunteer service. Their contributions extend far beyond this boardroom as they engage with the community by listening to their concerns, whether that's parents or staff, or working to create the best environment for our students. District 300 board members adopt, monitor, and enforce policies pertaining to the district's budget, our schools, and our students. In addition, our board members are actively involved in overseeing the implementation of our strategic plan, which seeks to provide engaging and inclusive educational experiences that empower and equip all of our students to discover, innovate, and succeed now and in the future. It's our board members' passion for education, their belief is in the potential of every child, and their support for our educators that allows District 300 to improve, succeed, and thrive. Tonight, I am proud to announce that District 300 Board recently earned the 2023 School Board Governance Recognition from the Illinois Association of School Boards, or IASB. This recognition acknowledges school boards that have engaged in activities and modeled behaviors that lead to excellence in local school governance in support of quality education. Our school board was one of only 45 in Illinois that earned such a designation for that this year. I have a plaque that I will present you with shortly for that. In addition, the IASB recently recognized an individual member of our board. Congratulations to Steve Fiorentino, who was designated as an established board leader by the IASB for his participation in a number of professional development and leadership activities, including undertaking an IASB board self-evaluation. I have a plaque for you too. I'm also excited to inform you that in one of our traditions, earlier this year, you heard me speak about adopting a board member. And so we have 7 schools here that participate in that who would like to recognize you this evening as well. So our principals, as they start to come forward, as I call your name, please proceed to the board dais, yes, to thank your respective board members with this small gift. And I have a certificate for you with that as well. I just have all kinds of gifts tonight. Meadowdale Elementary School Principal Kelly Murphy, if you could please come forward. Meadowdale's adopted board member is Board President Dr. David Scarpino. Gulfview Principal, Miss Pam Hill, formerly Miss Pam Carlos. So Mrs. Hill, please come forward. Thank you. Gulfview's adopted board member is Vice President Nancy Zettler. Perry Principal, Mr. Adrian Harris. Perry's adopted board member is School Secretary Christine Burkett. Sleepy Hollows Elementary School's principal, Dr. Angela Ranke. Sleepy Hollow's adopted board member is Mr. Steve Fiorentino, and he will be receiving his plaque right along with his certificate and pen. Gilbert's Elementary School principal, Tom Rusniak. Gilbert's, oh, that's a huge basket. Gilbert's adopted board member is Randy Gauthier. Lake in the Hills Elementary School principal, Miss Angela Hammond. Lake in the Hills adopted school board member is Miss Tola McKindy. And Liberty Elementary School's principal, Miss Christine Santos Diaz. Liberty's adopted board member is Mr. Emmanuel Thomas. I'd like to thank you all for joining us to acknowledge our school board tonight. If you could please join me in a final thank you and round of applause to congratulate our team.
For those who have watched our board meeting, you know what, if you guys want to leave, feel free to. Feel free to, please. I know you've been working on everything, so go right ahead. Thank you very much. Board really appreciates it.
Thank you all so much.
For those who have watched our board meetings both in person and over the internet, you will remember we have rules of decorum. These rules serve a purpose so we as a board can have a meaningful and productive board meeting. In order for this to occur, decorum must be maintained. The following are the rules of decorum. There's no need for anyone to call out comments during our meeting or to raise their voices, nor to interrupt another speaker or presenter. We as a board will listen to you and be respectful. We will consider your comments, but will not dialogue or engage with speakers in this forum. Board members may choose to discuss matters brought up during public comment during board discussion. However, I need to remind everyone that this would be a board discussion, and the board will not dialogue or engage with anyone other than the superintendent and other board members. I ask everyone to please be respectful, civil, and courteous during our meeting. If a person chooses to be disruptive, I will gavel the person and ask them to please stop their disruptive behavior. Additionally, our district safety officer or his agent may warn them that if they choose to continue their disruptive behavior, additional consequences will be forthcoming. If a person chooses to continue to be disruptive and not follow the rules, they will be removed from our meeting. This action is a direct result of the person's choice to be disruptive. We as a board will respectfully listen to each speaker. Just because we didn't vote the way some wanted us to does not mean we didn't listen or take into consideration what you had to say. Also, please remember we all learn differently. Some of us take notes during the presentation and therefore take our eyes off the speaker. It doesn't mean we are not listening. I want to thank you in advance for your cooperation, and the board and I look forward to a meaningful and productive meeting. Okay, so we have not had any members sign up for public participation, so we will move to board announcements. Good news.
District 300 recognized for excellence in financial reporting. The Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA, excuse me, of the United States and Canada has awarded its Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to District 300 for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year that ended June 30th, 2022. The report was judged by an impartial panel to determine whether it met the high standards of the recognition program, which include demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure, to clearly communicate a financial story and motivate others to read the report according to the GFOA. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. D300 would like to congratulate Superintendent Dr. Susan Harkin, Chief Financial Officer Jennifer Porter, and our finance team for this accomplishment. I'm starting this. Great job, you guys.
Okay. Local businesses host students in observance of Manufacturing Month. Dundee Crown and Hampshire High School students recently toured area businesses as part of Manufacturing Month, a national observance recognized in October. Students studying autos, electricity, manufacturing, and welding visited several local sites. Dundee Crown toured auto engineering in Carpentersville, and Hampshire students toured Sauber Manufacturing in Virgil. Both schools also visited Pactiv Evergreen in St. Charles. Thank you to all the local businesses that hosted our students as part of Manufacturing Month.
Dundee Crown High School teacher recognized by Illinois Association of Blind Students. Miss Justine Kylo, a teacher of the visually impaired at Dundee Crown High School, recently received a 2023 Excellence in Teaching Award from the Illinois Association of Blind Students. The award recognizes going above the call of duty in order to create a unique learning opportunities for students. Ms. Kylo was recognized for her work during an annual conference hosted by the National Federation of the Blind of Illinois, an organization affiliated with the Illinois Association of Blind Students. District 300 congratulates Ms. Kylo for receiving a 2023 Excellence in Teaching Award.
D300 schools recognize Veterans Day. All District 300 schools proudly recognized Veterans Day last week. Activities included sharing details about the history of Veterans Day, providing information about the different branches of the military, creating art-based projects, and singing patriotic songs. Some schools, such as Dundee Highlands, Lincoln Perry, and Newburgh Elementary Schools, as pictured, honored veterans in person. District 300 expresses gratitude to all veterans for their immense sacrifices in safeguarding our freedom, and also congratulates all of our schools for hosting engaging Veterans Day activities and events.
All right, up to the podium next would be Dr. Smith to give an update on strategic goal number 2, as well as other academic updates for the district.
Hello again. Good evening, Board and Superintendent Harkin. I'll be providing you the update currently about our progress overall as a district with student achievement at this time and just what we're doing academically in District 300. Just to give you the historical perspective of where we're at, we completed a deep dive within our state report card in 21-22 to help guide the work that we've been speaking of through the strategic plan. We partnered with the Catalyst for Educational Change to guide the work of creating just a systematic approach to how we are strategic and how we plan for what we need to do moving forward for students academically. Some things that this led us to doing is thinking about our building-specific school improvement plans. And although we have large goals as a district, each school is unique and different and has different areas that need to be focused on for their students. So the school improvement plan is the way that the buildings get at that task. Currently, previously, I think it was October 30th, the state released all the state report cards for for Illinois. And you have heard this information before, but I just want to zero in on some things just to highlight what we really have in front of us. We're going to take a deeper look tonight into the academic indicators as we review the components of goal number 2 in the strategic plan. A few items to highlight from our state report card as a district are our graduation rate. As you can see there, continues to be 96%, which is outperforming the state at this time. Our low-income student rate is the highest it's been since 2017. Our homeless rate is at 1.2%, which is the highest it's been since 2017. English learner students make up 20.6% of our district, and that's the highest it's been since 2017. Each year on the report card, the state adds new components, and these new components are added to give you a full picture, more of a full picture, not all those details, right? We know the day-to-day is nitty-gritty, but a more full picture to see through the lens of what might behaviors look like district-wide as it relates to suspensions, expulsions, student placements. They only look at large incidents, right? So I don't want you to look at this information because this is public information and go to that and think, oh my goodness, they only highlight a very small amount of high-level behavior, okay? So we're not talking about, oh, today I just had Martina and she just wouldn't stop talking. We're not talking about that type of behavior when I mention behavior on the state report card. I just think that that's some clarity that we should all have in front of us. Things that they're talking about is something that could cause physical injury, a weapon, drugs, which all things that we have policy and procedure for. We, as you heard us talk about back in September in Goal 1, have targeted the work in those areas. So those will not be the areas that you hear me go deep on tonight, but I want to give you a full picture that this state report card is just not about only literacy and math. There are many parts to it, and you can see that whole component list there on the side. I am going to go into a lot of educator talk, so I want to take my time to make sure I'm not speaking over your heads, but are there any questions as you think about right now the Illinois State Report Card?
Board members, anything? Could you just clarify, I'm sorry, could you just clarify, the student-teacher ratio 19-to-1, that's a culmination of the entire school district, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's some that are larger, some that are smaller?
Yes, but all within the acceptable limits.
Correct, thank you.
So overall, as a district right now, we have 3 exemplary schools designated by one test of the IAR, and part of that is their growth, which I'll talk about in a minute. Eastview, Newbert, and Hampshire Elementary. In addition to that, we have 22 commendable schools and 1 school that has 1 targeted area that we need to focus on for this year, just to bump that school back up to a full commendable. So when I talk about the sum of designation, if you look at the top graph, that will be about our high schools, and the bottom graph will be specifically about K-8. Multiple measures are considered when they come up with this score. Each school fits within a grade level band, and they have academic indicators that make up 75% of the designation, which you see in blue. The other 25% of the designation, 25%, is in yellow. High schools are heavily measured by their graduation rate, and K through 8 is heavily measured by growth. So you might wonder, these are things that I wonder, well, what makes a school exemplary and what says that a school is commendable? This is a new graph that we have been able to get access to this year from the state. And so you can see in the middle there, if I was still the principal at Meadowdale Elementary School, I see that green box for my school, and there is a commendable and exemplary box on one side and a comprehensive and targeted box on the other. But I'm good because I'm in the green. I'm between the two. I'm commendable. The goal would be, how do I get over to that highest 10% of exemplary and not fall into that bottom 5% of comprehensive, okay? So what's tricky here is this changes every year. And so once they add up all of the scores for all of the schools, then you're placed based on the top 10% and the lowest 5%. So our goal is always going to be continuing to look at this data that I'm talking through very quickly, and how do we keep pushing to what we saw the top 10% was. What does targeted and intentional look like in District 300? You heard me mention just a little bit during the presentation about Perry that when we focus on something with intention, you can see great results. And so some examples of that you see here, we started with that status. We were targeted and intentional with a plan of improvement for Perry, and the end result was the exit to commendable status. District-wide, we were low in, and we still have some work to do in reading proficiency. We targeted some changes in literacy, which include more minutes, implementation of a resource, UFly, to support foundational literacy, and then science of reading training that continues to go on, which our new resource for K through 5 supports. We were able to see a 5.3% increase in literacy proficiency. Our district chronic absenteeism rate was 30.9%. We focused on what our systems look like district-wide and at the building levels, right? Because that's one of those things in the school improvement plan. Maybe chronic absenteeism is not above that 10% in your building. You might not need to identify as many structures of support as a school that might be at a 28%. With intentional focus, we have seen that our district weight went down 5.3%. And what I want to highlight specifically with that is that at Perry, they had a decrease of 15%. Dundee Crown High School had a decrease of 12%, and Jacobs High School had a decrease of 11%. And so I just want to continue to point out these intentional and targeted strategies. If we continue doing that and being really clear about what our support is from the central office to the schools, we can keep making these incremental moves towards success.
Can I ask a question? Can you remind us what chronic absenteeism means?
Chronic absenteeism, off the top of my head, 10 days, 10%. 10% of the last 180 days. So the goal, that's a changing target. Today, the number could be 28% because we had a high number of students out. And next week, that could go down to 20% because now the attendance has risen across the district. And so we work at that data point all year because there becomes a time in the year where the state takes a snapshot of here's where you are, and that's the number that they report. And so it's a constant number that you have to continue to work at. That's what happens when you're overly preparing for all this information to report out. You have to dig real deep to remember, what does that mean in the first place? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Climate and culture, District 300 climate and culture. All of our schools engage in a 5 essentials survey. And on that survey, staff, students, and families answer questions about their school. And so some of our lowest areas with that were involved families and collaborative teachers. Again, with targeted and intentional support, including lots of feedback from staff, we were able to see an increase in collaborative practices by 11 points overall as a district, but we had several schools that had over 15-point increase in that area. And as we looked at how do we target getting more of that stakeholder feedback and getting parents involved, we were able to see an overall increase there and an increase in parent influence on decision making. And so incremental changes at a time, targeted support, clear focus, greater outcomes. So I mentioned in the beginning that we partnered in the beginning of developing our strategic plan with the Catalyst for Educational Change. And something that we hold true to is supporting our teacher teams with their professional learning communities, PLCs or collaborative teams, whatever phrase you would like to use. And the fundamental purpose of a PLC is for collaboration for staff and to ensure that students can learn at high levels. And so that's really a practice that we own and want to continue to put time into as a district to have this long-term effect of sustainability. I will add with that since we have re-engaged as a district and just really gotten clear on how can we support our schools better with the PLC process, we're really on track to look at having some PLC model schools identified here in our districts and possibly looking at becoming a PLC model district. And so I just want to put that on your radar right now. So later, sometime when I come back, I'm reporting to you who those schools are.
Can you explain what a model PLC school district is?
I think I saw Dr. Herb in the room. Come on up, Dr. Herb. Dr. Herb was really my partner in leading that work. And so I'm going to give myself a talking break.
Good evening, board members. A model PLC school and district just simply employs the PLC process most effectively, which is the opportunity for not only teachers in the classroom to understand exactly what our students need and be able to react in real time, but also then take that to collaborative teaming and be able to effectively work through the process of understanding what students know, what they don't know, and how to intervene most effectively. So the whole process of fully vetting the curriculum and then collaborative teaming and then implementing whatever results need to be put forward is really what shows through, excuse me, Solution Tree, which is our consultant. They have a very established practice of how teachers collaborative team. And therefore, through looking at that, I'm just trying to like reform each of it so I can actually make it not educator speak. It's really just how teachers most effectively work together and do what's right for the students that are in front of them. I think that's really the most effective way to put it forward. I'd be happy to share with you guys in a board weekly update what that looks like and some of the criteria for that, but it's really just effective best practices for collaborative teaming.
So we have a great partnership with Solution Tree, and they have identified that they see this in our district, and so we're really partnering with them to continue that work. Just looping back around to the school improvement plan so you can see exactly each school has those components built in. And I just want to make sure that I highlight, although that this states goal 1 and goal 2, they're hitting all 5 goals of the strategic plan within their school improvement plan. So don't think because 1 and 2 are up there that 3, 4, and 5 aren't getting brought into a part of that. One of the biggest ways is goal 3, right? Because I really can't get down to what kids need if I'm not staffed appropriately. if I don't have what I need to develop my staff. And so that's the wraparound of what that looks like implemented at the school level. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so what I think is important is we've developed this high-level strategic plan that shows the big number of what we're trying to achieve district-wide, right? And how we want to improve ELA, math. What ends up happening is through the school improvement plans, then we take it down to the school level and they look at their numbers in the school report card and set benchmark KPIs that they're trying to hit, as well as the work around how can they improve this area in their building. So I think really what's been highly effective that we've really retooled our work is how do we then make sure that what we've done at the very high level really gets down to the building, gets down to the classroom, gets down to the student, which is where we know that that's the biggest impact that we can make. So all of it's connecting together now. And again, I think with the focused, intentional work that we're talking about tonight, when we continue to do that and focus on that through what this process is, ultimately getting down to the PLCs where the teachers are looking at this individual student data, we really believe that this process will really help us move the needle academically, which we're pretty excited about.
So I'm going to do a little bit more data talk because I'm going to specifically now talk about 2A and 2B of our strategic plan and some of the work we've been doing there. So I'm going to take a step a little bit back up to the strategic plan level, not down at the school improvement level, to talk about what that looks like. Increased student proficiency and or growth on their English language arts state tests is 2A, just to remind you of that priority task. And so just to bring you back to, this was the data that we started with to identify what the problem was with literacy. So this is just to bring you back to it. It's not a new point. I do want to just highlight a quote. Reading proficiency is the most fundamental skill to most, if not all, academic learning and success in school. In the U.S., the ability to read proficiently is significantly related to how much a person can achieve in his or her personal and or professional life. And so I hope I am showing as much passion as I have about the importance to me that we develop students who read. And so I'm just gonna go deep into that right now and give you a little just peek into a little bit more of my passion about what that looks like. But when you think about the K through 12, pre-K through 12 span, it happens in pieces and parts, right? We have possibly, as you see in this data, because you see the SAT data point there, that we have some work to do with our secondary level, as in 21-22, that was at a 30%. But the piece I'm specifically going to go into tonight to show my passion is building our long-term success plan for the critical, basic literacy skills that students need to give us longevity of creating a district of students who read. And in a continuation of another presentation, because I know I will give you another one of these updates, I'll specifically talk about, well, what happens if I'm already past that basic point, Martina? I'm not at a discover how to read phase anymore. What are you doing for my child? I'm bringing that back deep for you the next time. Because when we target intentional and consistent work, although this team here really believes we can do it all at once and we really try, but to get data outcomes like a 5.3% increase to already exceed the goal that we set for 1 year, it shows that the targeted intentional time that we took to focus on that part of literacy is being effective. And so I just want to make sure that I'm sharing that with you all and that our team hears that, because when you're working with this type of data and you know the outcomes are great because you are affecting the lives of children, and their futures, you take your work very seriously. So I think it's important for them to hear from me. We are doing the right work, and we would like to share that with you now and then let you know we're coming back with more. Okay? Oh, sure.
Now that I've had more than 4 seconds to think about it, it just segues perfectly with what she was talking about with the model school and model district and the PLC portion of it. Model school and model district is based solely on student growth. And so as our solution tree consultant has come in these last several months, he's identified that several of our schools are hitting that target growth amount with the components of the PLC process in place at some of these buildings that is demonstrating that these schools could be model PLC schools. And then additionally, with the work that our entire district is putting in place with these practices, he's identifying that our entire district is on the right trajectory with the student growth that he's seeing to become a model PLC district in the future. So that's where it all kind of comes together. The foundational piece is the evidence of student growth, with each of the different components with evidence from our buildings of how the actual PLC process is being implemented. So that's it segued in perfectly and it clicked. So I wanted to put that into perspective with how student growth impacts our ability to attain model PLC school and model district status.
That's great news.
Sorry for
That
jumping.
really is. That's very good news.
Too far. So again, as you know, we were trying to get that 3% increase, and you're probably going to hear me say a few more times that we exceeded it before I finish today and pass it over to Liz. And so the last time I gave you this presentation, we were saying, here's what we are planning to do. So now I would like to talk about what we have done since we said we were planning to do it. We have implemented a new literacy adopted resource, which has the science of reading principles embedded. We have been doing, and I'll kudos to Dr. Gravel, our literacy director for pre-K 5. She has been really taking that feedback from our staff and really targeting what do staff who are at the ground level need to make sure they have what they need in their classrooms, or what training do they need to support our students. And so, of course, when you bring out a new practice and a new resource, you have to really, really be ready to support that. You can't just put it out there and then say, good luck. And so I just want to make sure I give her credit tonight that she is really at the ground level making sure that that happens. Something else that goes along with that is ensuring that we have training for our principals who are at the ground level supporting the staff, right? Supporting those PLCs. And so those are all things that are happening for our elementary. When I think about secondary, we're really talking about what does engaging with the literacy with text look like? What does that look like at the secondary level when I want to be on my phone and TikTok? I would rather be doing that than listening to, you need to write about what you're reading, you need to talk about what you're reading, and conferencing with the teacher. So that teacher is getting that one-on-one time in our secondary to engage with students and talk to them about how they can just run with what's going on with literacy. And so continuing to support them in what staff is giving them the feedback, that would be Ms. Beth Gowdy, supporting them. What does the staff need as we continue to keep this push going with literacy?
And I'm going to jump in there if I could. So I just really also want to thank our teachers who have run with this new adoption. I go out to the buildings once a week. Mrs. Gothier been going with me, and I'm telling you, they are hitting it and doing this work. And I know it's never any easy undertaking to jump on a new adoption, but they are fully embracing it. And I really want to thank them for their jumping in, because I see all of the things that we know that will help our kids become strong readers and strong with their literacy skills. seeing that happen firsthand in the classroom. So I definitely want to thank our teachers, who it's never easy to do a new adoption, but are doing a fantastic job, and to thank the team that is supporting them so that they can do it with finesse and grace, because it isn't easy, but they're doing an amazing job, and I really want to thank them.
So let me just finish my last little soapbox piece about the science of reading. So when you came in today, I have set in front of you, you have a copy of this information about Scarborough's reading rope, and you have an example of the rope in front of you, because I don't want us to forget. Martina, it's not happening right now. Why isn't it happening faster? It is about building that base of knowledge for students. So if we work together to help them become accurate and fluent and just automatic in what they know about learning and reading, we can then bring that over to the comprehension side, where then they can engage in verbal reasoning and having that knowledge for literacy. You heard me speak about this, and I was up here trying to say, remember, if you put a rope together and you, so there's your visual. I don't have to try to paint that picture today. There's my elementary side right there. But I just want to say, we're going to continue, so this is our progress so far, helping students engage in a variety of texts, right? Sometimes part of getting them to engage is, do we have the text that is interesting to the students that are in our schools? Do we have the text that is interesting based on the course that they have selected? So making sure that we're staying the most up to date about what that needs to look like. Are we having them talk and write about the text and using robust vocabulary? Robust vocabulary is a game changer for our kids. You're gonna see me give you a very brief iReady overview in a second. There is a third domain when you're in iReady. There's 5 of them in literacy. The third domain of vocabulary is our next piece to hit. We implemented the resource where we have support with phonics, which are the first 2 domains, and now we have to hit that vocabulary piece. And what's great is the resource that we selected, CKLA Amplify, has the opportunities for students to engage on a daily basis in rich, robust vocabulary. So if they don't have it, we must build it. That's the intention of getting them these opportunities within the classroom. Any questions? So just to update you again, overall, when you put the IAR test, the DLM, and the SAT together, we're at a 32.4% proficiency on the school report card. Our goal this year was 30.1. It's pretty small. And then the 14% that you see there, English Language Arts Monitoring, that was that represented the number of students who tested in the fall, who already in literacy on iReady had their grade level score met. So you have a year to meet at grade level, but 14% of our students were meeting in the fall. And then my last 2 slides here just talk about, well, just for literacy, talk about our fall iReady assessment, K through 5 on this slide, and 6 through 8 on the second. Just at a visual glance, you see year over year in the fall, our kids come in at about the same level. What I would like to add to this is, in a future presentation, I think by Dr. Herb, when you hear about summer programming, last year we implemented Summer Scholars. At that time, he's going to share some of the data with you that we saw an increase over the summer in some literacy at that time that indicated that we would have students return and not return with as many gaps. But I also just want to continue to reach out and say, parents, families, keep partnering with us with literacy, and we'll get all the kids there. We'll continue to get that data up. Any questions about literacy before I move on to math. So now let's switch the hat to math. Again, the problem we're addressing here is that we, at this time, just are not at the proficiency level that we would like to see for our students in math. Although we have seen some decrease in math and not as much growth as we're looking for, let me first tap back to tell you we were intentional in focusing on literacy. And so now moving forward after today, when I talk to you about math, it will be an update on the things that we said we would implement for math to now focus on where we can see getting growth in those areas as well. Again, it was a 3% growth that we were looking at. Some things that we identified in my previous presentation that we would work on that we have implemented in math. One big thing I want to highlight is student discourse with math, right? So we know reading is an avenue to getting students some of the skills that they need to perform at a higher level in math. And when I talk about teachers are receiving support and training in what does it look like to support math discourse within your classroom, those thinking opportunities, those speaking opportunities. It's questions, but it's a step further than what questions is the teacher asking the students. It's, are the students engaging in conversation and asking each other questions about mathematical practices or how they're representing the math when they complete the problems. Also shaping your thinking about math, right? So how are you able to explain how you got to that answer or the steps that you took? It might sound, oh, well, you added 2 plus 2, and you counted 2 and you counted 2 more. It gets real complex when you're talking about adding and subtracting fractions and adding and subtracting decimals and all of those points beyond 5th grade math that you would never want me in the classroom trying to teach again in the future. But it is a very complex subject that builds on, again, your previous knowledge. So what are those things specifically? Maybe the mathematical practices that we need to dig into, and what does that support look like to our PLCs and supporting them with getting that math support increased the way that we did in literacy. So Mrs. Waller is already pushing this highly in the 6th through 12th grade secondary levels. There's a whole professional development support plan all year long that she's working on with each of the schools on. We are implementing the math workshop to another level in elementary school and then continuing to break that down and what do those supports need to be like for staff to support our students, especially when you have all those gaps and you're in a 5th grade math level or 8th grade math level now, and you still got one of the practices that you're struggling with. And so us digging into our data another layer now and identifying what do we intentionally want to focus on so we can say all of our kids will have X as they move forward in District 300 with math. Yep.
Board members, any questions right now? I have a question about your first bullet.
Yes.
Develop elementary master schedules that provide an increase in math minutes. The master schedule, there's only so many minutes. So if you increased math, what was the reverse of that?
Yes. So one of the things we did was with our implementation of the new resource Amplify CKLA, we have been able to integrate science and social studies into our literacy block at the K through 2 grade level. And that allowed us to increase literacy and math minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's more of what I talked about. I want to highly identify actively participate in small group instruction because that allows students to work on skills at their level and not just have to stay included in one group. If they have already passed on to something and they need to be enriched, they can work in a small group to reach that. And if they need to be retaught, there's an opportunity for them in small group to receive reteach. Again, our proficiency rate here on the school report card for math was 26.7%. So we are not there yet, but we're progressing. And we had 5% of our students on the fall iReady that represented end of the year grade level ready. I do want to identify, although our overall growth for IAR math was only 1.1%, in our sixth grade, we saw a 3.9 across sixth grade in District 300. We saw a 3.9% increase for students on that assessment. And then here again with the K through 5 and then 6 through 8, you can see it's a pretty steady where they're performing. But I do want to identify here, again, sixth grade, we had 24% of our students in 2021-2022 above grade level in the fall, on or above, and this year at the start of the year we had 30%. And so that would be an example of tapping into what are we doing really well at that grade band, to see that at the beginning of the year and see that year over year kind of increase. And is there something going on that we can implement somewhere else? Before I pass it on to Dr. Freeman, any questions for me about all of that information?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good evening, Superintendent Harkin, board members, and community. I will be sharing with you information about Priority Task 2C and 2D this evening. Priority Task 2C focuses on increasing the student attendance rates for Tier 3 supports. When we think about our instructional model, there are 3 tiers of instruction. Tier 1 is the core general instruction that all students receive. This is delivered by their classroom teacher and is the student's first opportunity to learn the given objectives for the day. Many students have a good understanding of lesson objectives after Tier 1 instruction, and some students need more support. These students also get Tier 2 instruction. This added layer of support is also delivered by the classroom teacher, where they reteach the content and objectives in different ways. Generally speaking, we anticipate about 15% of students may need Tier 2 supports. We have time scheduled within the elementary day for reteaching and Tier 2 instruction. After our students get a chance to learn the content through Tier 2 instruction, many of them are able to demonstrate mastery of the objectives, but we do know that sometimes there are students who might need additional extra help. That's where Tier 3 instruction comes in, which is the focus of this Priority Task 2C. Tier 3 instruction is delivered as an academic intervention by interventionists. Students who demonstrate a need for additional support are identified through data analysis and attend a Tier 3 intervention. Priority Task 2C centers around attendance at these interventions. As we were reviewing our academic programming, we were identifying priority tasks for our strategic plan. We noted that there was room for improvement in student attendance for reading and math interventions. Here you see a graph that represents our baseline attendance data for reading interventions on the left and math interventions on the right. We had an attendance rate of 73% and 72% respectively. Working with our data and assessment team, we identified a key performance indicator of having 80% attendance for both math and reading interventions, which you see illustrated here with the green horizontal line. Our goals for Priority Task 2C are by the end of the 23-24 school year to increase student attendance rates in Tier 3 interventions in math by 7%. And to accelerate academic growth for all students in Tier 3 interventions. We've put together several strategies in place which are to achieve these outcomes. We are monitoring attendance in Tier 3 interventions by conducting classroom visits and by reviewing attendance information daily. Attendance and performance information is shared with teachers, building leaders, as well as with students themselves. Individual students who are not meeting attendance expectations are provided additional support, and school-level teams come together to provide possible solutions to support individual students. We have strong evidence to support that our Tier 3 instruction continues to improve as a result of increasing attendance rates. Students are attending interventions on a regular basis. During interventions, our interventionist teams are using research-based learning strategies, and we provide frequent feedback to staff on attendance, growth, and student performance. And we have some great data to share with you as an early indicator of our efforts. At this time, our attendance rate for Tier 3 interventions has increased and is beyond our established target of 80%, illustrated here again with that green line. You will see that we have a reading intervention attendance rate of 93.9% and math intervention attendance rates at 94.2% year to date. This is a true testament to the hard work of many, many individuals in our D300 schools. Even though we're very encouraged by these early results, we know that this is a year-long goal, and we look forward to continued improvements in student attendance. Any questions there on 2C? I'll move on to priority task 2D. This is to expand and enhance current pathway programs to ISB college and career pathway endorsements and to improve student participation rates in college career coursework for all student groups. This is a priority task that has a lot of moving parts and a lot of acronyms, so I'm going to do my best to spell out any acronym that we're using. I'll walk you through the aspects of this task. On this slide, you see 3 years of academic data, starting with the 2019-2020 school year on the left and reading across to the previous school year of 2021-2022. Each bar represents the total number of students enrolled in early coursework. This could be through advanced placement courses or dual credit courses. These courses provide opportunities for students to engage in an area of interest and to really dive deeply into content and subject areas that are of their choice, such as history, English, or CTE. You'll notice on that slide that from 2019 through 2022, there is a persistent decrease in student enrollment for advanced courses. Through tracking this data, we recognized an opportunity to expand and enhance our efforts in these areas. We established 2 outcomes for Priority Task 2D. First, to increase students completing college and career readiness indicators by 5% for the purpose of strengthening early college and credit options for all high school students. We want students to have as many options as possible when they graduate from a D300 school, and strengthening these early college and credit options is one way to ensure that they have options as they graduate. In this outcome, that first bullet, you'll see mention of college and career readiness indicators. Let me talk to you a little bit about what a college career readiness indicator is. They are defined by the Illinois State Board of Education, ISB. They've been in place for a number of years, but were recently revised in May of 21. There are pages and pages of guidance about these college and career readiness indicators, but I'm going to synthesize and summarize the broad concepts for you. ISB has 2 designations for students relative to college career readiness indicators. Students can be identified as a college and career scholar or as a distinguished scholar. College and career scholars have a 2.8 GPA or higher on a 4.0 scale, a 95% attendance rate during their junior and senior years, and either a college and career pathway endorsement or some of the following criteria. It might be in ELA or math during or before their junior year that they have a specific AP exam score of 3 or higher, an AP course completed with a grade C or better, a dual credit course with a grade C or better, transitional math or English classes with a grade C or better, and a specific minimum score on SAT or ACT with enrollment in high school courses. Distinguished scholars have even higher criteria, with a GPA of 3.75 on a scale of 4.0 and an ACT composite score of 30 or better. For both designations, scholar or college and career scholar or distinguished scholar, they must have at least 3 career indicators from this following list: career development experience in high school, industry credentials, which I'll speak to in just a moment, military service, dual credit pathway courses, completion of a program of study before graduation, maintaining employment for 12 months, consecutive summer employment during high school, 25 hours of community service during high school, or 2 or more extracurricular activities during high school. So you can hear that broad range of activities is something that appeals to the diverse student needs across Illinois. So as you see on that first bullet there, college and career readiness indicators are something that we've set a goal for. Our second goal noted on our slide is to improve alignment of college and career advanced coursework enrollments to reflect our broad student demographics to ensure that all students have access to rigorous coursework. Our strategies for achieving are as follows. We're working towards growing our community and industry partnerships in an effort to understand our students' post-secondary planning. It includes what we've put in place, a work-based learning advisory board, which is just newly developed at D300. We have a summer internship program being planned for summer of 2024, and a partnership with the Alignment of Collaborative Education, also known as ACE. It's a nonprofit organization working regionally to support workforce development. The second bullet there, we're also really excited to increase opportunities for students to earn industry certification. We have many industry certificates that students can graduate with, including the ones listed there. ASC is Automotive Service of Excellence. We've had students take many of their entry-level exams. We also are working to have all 3 of our high schools be ASC certified training facilities, which will open up opportunities for our students to partner with various automotive manufacturing companies. ServSafe, listed on our slide there, is food service handling. The food handler and allergen certification we offer is recognized at local restaurants and catering establishments. AWS, American Welding Society certification. This is a certification for different types of welding and welding positions. Hampshire High School is one of only 2 high schools in the state that is qualified to work with that is qualified as an accredited testing facility for that welding certification. We have CNC lathe and mill operator certifications, and also our early childhood students have completed a variety of industry certifications as well. They've completed certifications in mandated reporter, poison control, and gateways to opportunities for early childhood level 1 certification. The list goes on. We have Certiport certification, which is industry recognized certifications for such things as Microsoft Specialist, Adobe software, CAD programs, and that rollout just began this school year. And then finally, our last bullet there, we want to ensure that there's equitable dual credit opportunities for all students. We'll continue to collaborate with our good partner, Elgin Community College, to offer dual credit for our high schools, which reduces barriers to college access. We'll provide students the opportunity to earn credit, or college credit while in high school, and we're giving access to students at college level material when they may not have had access to that previously. We're making tremendous progress in this area, as you can hear. We've implemented School Links, which is a post-secondary school support platform. Mr. Sosowski and I just tonight were looking at the data because we wanted to make sure we gave you the very latest numbers. To date, we've had more than 7,200 individual student logins. And of those students who have logged in, they've tapped the platform over 24,000 times, planning for their post-secondary experiences. This program can be used by both students and families as they plan for their next step beyond D300. I'm also pleased to inform the board and the community that we have submitted applications and just last week got ISB approval from the State School Board Association, approval of the following college and career pathway endorsements: Human and Public Services for elementary and secondary education, and Finance and Business Services with entrepreneurship. And later this year, we'll be applying for more, including welding, manufacturing, and early childhood education programs. It's a huge recognition from the state to have our programs certified. Again, great testament to the very hard work of the team leading this department. We'll be offering additional on-campus dual credit classes for the 24-25 school year in the areas of math, social studies, industrial technology, and business education. And then additionally, we've planned a whole calendar of series of events for post-secondary and career exploration, dual credit information nights, career and pathway information nights, post-secondary career fair, and during the school day and evening events with a job fair in April. I'll share with you then some promising data as we wrap up Priority Task 2D. Here you see the very same data that was shared earlier that reflected a declining trend in enrollment from 2019 to 2022. Now you see that as of this current school year, 22-23, we're experiencing a significant increase in enrollment in these programs. We have an additional 361 students enrolled in advanced academic programs. It's an early indicator of the impact that having a strategic focus and very committed leadership will have in this area. Questions on 2D?
Board members, anything? Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm excited about all the additional offerings that we have. How are we making sure that families and students know about these offerings?
Yes, that's a great question, and we always try and communicate with our families. So they may receive superintendent updates, they may receive updates from their school principal, communications in that regard. We also have all of these events posted on our website under freshman transition and high school course information. It's in our course selection guide, which was recently published. I would encourage families and members of the community to check our website for postings on calendar dates for that whole year's worth of events that are scheduled. Each one is a must-go. They're just phenomenal events where families can learn a great deal about offerings here.
Any other board members?
I don't have a question, but you guys are doing great work. Thank you so much. Joe, thank you so much, all your hard work. Can see it right before our eyes. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for acknowledging that. It has been the hard work of that duo and also many other staff members and administrators in the buildings. So in closing, we have some next steps. I'm going to share next steps for 2C and 2D, and then Dr. Smith will return to the podium to wrap up our presentation. So for academic MTSS, which is the third bullet on your list there, our next steps are for students to continue having high rates of attendance in our academic interventions for both literacy and math, which will help close skill gaps. And for college and career readiness, the final bullet there displayed, will continue supporting students as they explore post-secondary options and plan for their life after high school. With that, I'll invite Dr. Smith to come back up.
And I think just to close the loop on another way that families can get more information about these things, one-pagers are being created. That's going to be like a flash one-stop shop, so stay tuned for that. Literacy, we're going to continue to do all the work that you heard me dig into today and refine what we know is working. We have launched toolkits in addition out to the primary grades, so supporting the teachers with that and making sure they continue to have the resources they need for those things, as well as with math. Maybe we're going to target if there's a specific manipulative that we know second grade kids can't keep their hands off of. If that's what we got to do, they will have it. But we're going to continue, again, like I said, to have students engage in talking about math. Turn it over to Dr. Harkin and then Board Member Burkett.
Yeah, I think she's after me. So just want to close with, we really believe that this new structured approach for our strategic plan really will help us see the gains that we saw. One thing I want to note is we set as a benchmark 3% for both math and ELA. In a system this large with thousands of students that are behind that number, we really have to get huge gains in growth with our students in order to achieve that. So 3% was a lofty goal for both of those, and the fact that when we really focused on the right work, and I'm even more confident with the new curriculum that we have and what's happening in our classrooms, we'll see really great gains with ELA, but to get a 5.3% increase was really a big deal. So just, I know that we're hard on ourselves, but that really was a huge effort by everyone and really was something that was something we should be commended for. So I really want to thank everybody that was a part of it, the leadership, the directors, the principals, and again, the teachers that really were part of that. So overall, we really believe that this new approach, we worked with an outside consultant that helped develop our strategic plan. Annually now, the process will be, as we'll be coming back in February, March, April, to look at what our current priority tasks and determine what should we do. I think Dr. Smith alluded to probably for some of this, because our teachers are just in the midst of new adoption, that how do we refine what we're doing, because we're seeing the work in the right direction. So I think it's really important now just to fine tune and refine what we're doing and not add more things to our teachers' plates, because they're showing us that they're doing the right work. So really look forward to following this very systemic approach, being very focused and targeted in our work, and really know that the sky's the limit. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what next year's numbers look like, because I think they're going to be even better than this year. And kudos to the CTE team and the Pathways team. They're doing a great job. They just got acknowledged at a state conference for one of the best people in the state of Illinois doing this work, and they've got a great team. And we had a couple teachers that got acknowledged for it as well too. So to your point, we do have really great people that are leading this work, and it's super exciting to see where we're at. So thank you for everybody in this room. Thank you for your support, and let's keep up the good work, everyone. And board member, Burkett, you're our board member that's the liaison to all this. So I think the next slide, any points or comments you want to make?
Yeah, I mean, I want to echo a lot of what you said, Dr. Harkin. Thank you to everyone who's been putting in the hard work to try and make change for our students. That's the administration, all the planning that goes into that may not seem obvious to us as parents, but there's a lot of work that goes into trying to change the systems that will help our kids, all the way down into the classroom. Thanks to the teachers, the staff, the students who've been working so hard, and the parents who have been helping. It was exciting to hear that gain that was pointed out about that over summer our students came back more prepared than ever. That comes down to the community, partnering to try and make change for our students to set them up for success in the future. I acknowledge that we still have work to do, but I do think that the data is showing that we're heading in the right direction. And if we can just keep doing more of the same good work, we're going to get there. And I'm excited for my student and for all the students in the district that we're making the right changes, it seems like, at the right time. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments?
I've got a comment. What I have taken away from these presentations, this is long overdue, and it is the hard work of the individuals. We have model PLCs, schools, possibly the district. We have integrated other subjects so that we could increase our math minutes, that's a great job when you work on your master schedules. You guys know that's very, very good. The attendance, you can't learn anything if you're not in school, and our attendance, the efforts that you guys are doing for that is helping everyone. And it's overall, everything that we heard tonight is extremely positive. It's enhancing the learning opportunities for the kids. We have additional opportunities for our high school kids and everything. So this is great news. It really is. Great job, folks. Really, good job.
All right, if we're done with that, now on to, because we're always moving forward, I'm going to invite Dr. Freeman up to talk about our instructional materials adoption so that we can continue making sure we've got the best and greatest resources for our students. And while there's a lot of slides here, they're going to go through it really quick.
We're keeping it packaged up for you here. All right, thank you. I'm back here to talk about instructional materials adoptions. This is a routine that we bring to you typically this time of year. Myself and members of the academic team will be sharing details with you about instructional materials adoptions and recommendations that we're making to the Board of Education. D300 has a 6-year review cycle, which ensures that students always have quality, current materials in front of them for learning. During this school year, we've reviewed materials in the areas that you see listed there: social studies, CTE, world language, fine arts, and science. Reviewing materials is a multi-step process that includes many district departments. The collaborative process provides appropriate materials for our students and incorporates teacher input during the review of these materials. The process begins with district leaders preparing and posting requests for proposals, or RFPs. That's in partnership with our purchasing department. The RFP outlines specific grade levels, courses, and content areas that we're reviewing for that year. Next, there's a district level review team, which includes input from directors of special education, English learners, assistant superintendents, and assessment team members. Our fabulous IT team also does an initial technical review of all resources to make sure that they work with our D300 systems. Next, in collaboration with LEAD, we develop teacher teams that explore the materials and attend vendor presentations. These teams provide essential input from the classroom perspective. Teacher teams include representatives from a variety of schools, different grade levels, and they also include representation from special ed, English language learners, and our dual language programs when it's relevant. Through a careful analysis of all of the data and information that we gather during these phases of the process, we then bring to you, the Board of Education, our recommendations for student materials. Tonight, we'll share recommendations with you, and we'll ask your approval to allow the materials to be on display for the public. In December, then, we bring this topic back to the board to ask for approval of the materials that we're recommending tonight. First, I'll share with you recommendations for the social studies department, and then I'll pass it to members of the academic team to share information on their departments as well. Middle school social studies was up for review this year. Our teacher team came together and provided some essential feedback on the options that were presented to them. We're making the recommendations, as you see listed there, of TCI History Alive, the Ancient World, TCI the United States Through Industrialism, and United States Through Modern Times. Teachers noted that these resources provide engaging student activities that immerse learners in the learning of history. The Spanish materials, which would be used in our dual language programs, are also of very high quality. We also had 5 reviews at the high school level: American Government, Global Economics, and U.S. History, all for 300 and 400 level classes. The teacher team reviewed materials and provided essential feedback in this process. The recommendation is for TCI Government Alive, Econ Alive, and History Alive. Staff indicated that these materials have strong alignment to D300 frameworks and will promote high levels of student engagement. Additionally, in social studies, we reviewed 2 AP classes. A team met to review AP Human Geography. The recommendation, as you see there, is Human Geography for the AP course by Hildebrandt, Liu, Keller, and Newman. This has very strong alignment to the AP course syllabus. And then we also reviewed AP US History. The recommendation there is for AMSCO AP United States History. The teacher team commented that these materials have strong alignment to the AP course syllabus and are a very friendly, student-friendly option. Next up will be information on CTE materials.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Education, Board President Dr. Scarpino, and Superintendent Dr. Harkin. I'm Joe Siskowski, Director of CTE Pathways in College and Career Readiness. I'm here to speak to you tonight about the material adoption and recommendations for courses in Career and Technical Education, otherwise known as CTE. Courses that participated in this process this year were Small Gas Engines, Accounting 1 and 2, Culinary 1 through 4, and Introduction to Business. These courses were selected based on the greatest identified need last spring. For Small Gas Engines course, the recommendation is for the Goodhart-Wilcox Small Engines 12th edition. The review team liked the alignment to the Equipment and Engine Training Councils, otherwise known as EETC, four-stroke engine certification, as well as the quality and alignment to both digital content and the included resources that support the text, in addition to the alignment to the course standards taught. For Accounting 1, the recommendation is Cengage Century 21 Accounting, Multi-Column Journal, 11th edition. This goes with Accounting 2. For Accounting 2, the recommendation is Cengage Century 21 Accounting, the Advanced Textbook, 11th edition. The review team liked the alignment to the standards taught in the course, the increased integration that the digital components had into Schoology, and the quality of the digital content and included resources. For Culinary 1 and 2, the recommendation is Goodhart-Wilcox's Guide to Good Food 2024. In Culinary 3 and 4 is the recommendation is for Goodhart-Wilcox's The Culinary Professional 2023. The staff liked how the digital resources directly supported the text and standards taught. They also noted that both textbooks now allows for translation in Google Chrome, which was a high priority for the team. Introduction to Business, the recommendation is for the Cengage Principles of Business 10th Editional Digital Suite. The review team liked how the resource aligned to the standards and the amount of digital content resources that were available, which they felt would lead to increased student engagement and learning. Next up, I'd like to introduce David Rojas, Director of EL and World Languages.
Good evening, distinguished Board of Education, Dr. Scarpino, President of the Board, and Superintendent Dr. Harkin. This is not my normal voice. I would love to speak like this all the time, but anyway, it's just for today. I would like to keep it, but it's not happening. I'm sorry. My name is David Rojas. I'm the Director of English Learners and World Languages, and we only have one course on this cycle review. I am pleased to recommend the Galería de Lengua y Cultura for Spanish speakers 1 and 2 courses. This recommendation is based on the feedback from our world language teachers. During the feedback session, one standout feature was highlighted: the rich portrayal of diverse locations from North America, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, and Europe. The geographical variety underscores the global reach and significance of the Spanish language that makes it truly a world language. This resource also provides experiences that will help students to communicate effectively in a variety of situations and for multiple purposes. We can integrate reading comprehension, authentic writing, speaking skills, listening, and academic vocabulary to language development. Through this, students will not only advance their literacy, but also hone their academic oral language skills. Galerías includes content that is culturally relevant and timely. It strongly portrays characters and settings that represent cultures and identities reflective of our community and our ever-changing world. We believe this resource will help us continue to prepare students for either college or career according to what they choose with the skills of an additional language. And now, let me introduce Sheila Crotty-Kagan, Director of Finance and Entertainment. And Enrichment, I'm sorry.
Entertainment.
Good evening, Dr. Harkin, School Board President Dr. Scarpino, and members of the board. I'm Sheila Crotty-Kagan, Director of Fine and Performing Arts, and I am here to share our recommendations for several courses in the fine arts. Those courses include High School Graphic Design and Computer Art 1, 2, 3, and 4, High School Photography 1, 2, 3, and 4, and high school studio and AP studio art. For all of those courses, we are recommending the Flex curriculum by Art of Education. And as you can see, all of the courses are again listed on this slide. The teacher teams felt that these resources promote collaboration and support of the PLC process. They are strongly aligned to the Illinois Arts Learning Standards, and the materials include opportunities to support students' artistic independence. This year we also reviewed materials for our high school guitar program, beginning with high school guitar 1 and 2. The team is recommending Rewire Guitar, which is a digital curriculum, and The Complete Beginning Guitarist, which is a print method book. We are recommending both a method book and a digital platform for Guitar 1 and 2. The teacher review team felt that these two resources combined create a well-rounded approach for beginning guitar players and those developing their skills. Additionally, and finally, for the fine arts, we reviewed High School Guitar Ensemble. For Guitar Ensemble, we recommend two method resources, a performance-based method that supports both individual and ensemble performance, as well as a guitar theory book that teachers felt would better help students to better understand the concepts of music theory specific to guitar. And last but never least, I would like to introduce Dr. Ami Engel, Executive Director of Science and Innovation.
She said it just fine. It was a little bit in reverse, but totally okay. Hi, I'm glad to be here tonight. For science, we have multiple adoptions that we reviewed. At the K-5 science level, teachers from every school were invited to participate in a review. The 3rd through 5th grade teachers with those dedicated science minutes that we heard about earlier today were the ones represented on the team, along with special education and dual language teachers. After a comprehensive review, the recommendation is for a digital adoption of Discovery Education's mystery science resources for all elementary grade levels and a Discovery Education science tech book specifically for the 3rd through 5th grade teachers. The team was excited that Mystery Science would provide hands-on supplemental support for the STEM teachers, along with resources for all elementary teachers in grades K through 5. And the team was also impressed with the updates to our existing resource, the Science Tech Book, and those technology integration features that enhance the use. 3rd through 5th grade teachers would continue to use the resources during the dedicated science minutes. The Discovery platform also includes a large library of supporting materials for science and beyond that the teachers felt would complement their lesson planning and strengthen the student experience at the elementary level. At the high school level, we did an AP Environmental Science review, and that team consisted of all the current AP Science AP Environmental Science teachers. They reviewed the available resources, checking for alignment with the College Board expectations, supplementary materials, accessibility features, and practice assessment components. The team unanimously recommended the updated version of their current resource, Environmental Science for AP. AP Physics had a comprehensive review as well. We have an AP Physics 1 course, an AP Physics 2 course, and an AP Physics C course. Those 3 different courses consist of all the same teachers. So all of the AP Physics teachers were invited to participate in the review. The team reviewed the resources available for Physics 1, 2, and C based on the future College Board expectations that begin in 24-25. They were also looking for those supplemental resources, practice assessments, and accessibility features. For AP Physics 1 and 2, the team unanimously recommended College Physics for the AP Physics 1 and 2 courses. And then for AP Physics C, the team recommended Physics for Scientists and Engineers, a strategic approach with modern physics. That concludes our recommendations for materials adoptions. What questions can we answer?
Board members, anything? These will be on display. So,
Correct.
So when parents say they have the opportunity, correct?
Correct, yes. So
And
they'll
can you
be on
just
display
elaborate on
for the next 30 days. They simply have to reach out to the main number here at the central office, and we will get them hooked up. We'd love to have them check out the resources. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and our last presentation for the evening is the tentative levy by Ms. Porter.
I know you guys are all excited. Good evening. Again, I'm here to present the 2023 tentative levy, which we're required to do each year. This is a shortened presentation as we went into more detail last Monday at the Operations Board Committee. That meeting is posted on the District Board of Education's video archive page. One of the things I want to do before I go into my next slide is I want to say it was very exciting to listen to these presentations today. And the tentative levy is vital to support what is going on in this district. And I just want to make sure that, you know, everybody hears that. I'm just excited, so excited to see what's going on in this district. Okay, now back to what I'm here for. District 300 is subject to the property tax extension limitation law known as PTEL. Therefore, the overall taxes that we extend yearly are limited to those rates, generally the lesser of 5% or CPI. Per the property tax process, the district submits its tax request to the county clerk's office by the last Tuesday in December. In the spring, the assessor's office will finalize the assessed valuations, property values, which are based on market conditions and the addition of any new property. The county clerk is responsible for setting the maximum allowable tax rate. To do this, they must take the previous year's extension amount plus any allowable increases authorized by the bond and interest payment schedule and divide that by the final EAV to set the district's tax rate. We then approve the final tax rate based on the amount you, the board, has authorized us in December as part of the property tax levy. 5 items go into how we develop the tax rate: the prior year cap tax extension, the consumer price index, CPI, the valuation of property in District 300, which is known as EAV, any new property, and then what amount our bond and interest payments are during this next levy year. This slide shows those 5 items I just spoke about. Our assumptions in our ask are estimating prior year EAV at $4.9 billion. New property at $152 million. This includes a $50 million cushion for any new property that is not included in the projection of our county assessors. We then estimate our total EAV to be $5.1 billion, which is huge. We are estimating a prior year change of last year's EAV at 5%. And although the CPI was 6.5%, again, we are capped at 5%. We overestimate our request for new property and our extension amount to accommodate any unforeseen variances related to the projections we receive now in November to the final EAV and any new property used in the final calculation with actual figures that will come in April. We want to ensure that any additional EAV that might come on the books, we're capturing it, because one of the things that we want to additionally do is that make sure that all that EAV is spread over as large of a tax base as possible, because that helps our taxpayers. If we don't claim that property we have access to, we will never be able to get that opportunity for that tax revenue back for the district. So with our ask, which again is an overestimated amount, we'd go from $234 million in levy year 2022 for our total extension to $267 million for levy year 2023. If you look at the overall tax rate, you will see that it increases from 5.149 to 5.235 in this scenario. Again, in our ask, we want to overestimate the levy to capture any new dollars that are associated with any additional EAV that might come on the books. Because again, if we don't claim it, we lose that opportunity. Due to state statutes, there are maximum rates that we are limited to. For example, you see in the blue arrow, the Special Education Fund, the calculated rate on the right is 0.8799. However, the max rate that we are allowed under the blue arrow on the left, on my left, I guess it would be your left too, right? That we are allowed is 0.80. The clerk's office will ensure that we only receive the 0.80, not the 0.8799. Now we're going to look at what we actually are projecting, utilizing the information that we have today, what we believe the actual numbers will be, and what it will look like to our local taxpayers. The only thing that we really see in these assumptions is the new property coming on the books. It is reduced by that $50 million cushion that I presented in the previous 2 slides. When we do the calculations with the expected EAV of $102 million, the district expects to collect $250 million for levy year 23. The overall tax rate is expected to drop from 5.149 to 5.106. This calculation takes into consideration the assumptions that I highlighted in the previous slide, again with the estimates from the counties. The rate looks to decrease by 4 cents. And you'll see that in this scenario, we are limited to the max rates that are established in the ASK rates. So what does this mean to a homeowner? What are they going to see from tax year 2022 to tax year 2023? In this slide, we show that the difference of a homeowner with an established home value of $250,000 for tax year 2022. For a home that was valued at $250,000 for 22, we see a 5% increase in their home value. Their projected D300 tax rate would reduce from 5.15 to 5.11. However, the District 300 tax on their home would increase by $77 as a result for the increased value in their home. That is something that we cannot control. For the same home that was valued at $250,000 in levy year 22, and it sees a 0% increase in the home value in 23, their projected tax rate would still reduce from 5.15 to 5.11. However, their district portion of their tax would decrease by $136. Again, these figures are based on preliminary information that we have today and include the established homestead exemption of $8,000. Again, the actual tax rates will not be known until April or May. This is a historical chart of the last 10 years of the district's tax levy information. As you can see, the lowest CPI in the last 10 years was in 2016 at 0.7%, and the highest previous was in 2022 at 7%. However, again, as a reminder, because we are a PTEL district, we are limited to the lesser of 5% or CPI from the preceding year. CPI is expected to decrease below the 5% threshold after this levy year. The district's EAV was at its lowest point in 2014 due to the recession when homes values declined. After 2014, the EAV has steadily increased up to $4.6 billion in levy year 22. In levy year 21, new property was at its highest due to the EDA coming on the tax rolls. The district's tax rate has continued to decrease since 2015, which has been good for all of our taxpayers. Later in the meeting, the board will be asked to vote on adopting the tentative tax levy resolution. The resolution will approve the tentative levy and authorize the district to post the required legal ad on December 1st, notifying the public of the hearing of the 23 levy on December 12th. At that meeting, any taxpayer or anyone in the public can come and speak about the levy. The board will vote that night on the adoption of the 23 certificate of tax levy, and then my office will file the tax levy on December 13th with all 4 of our counties. In April 2024, the county clerks will finalize those tax rates, and in May 2024, the district will begin to receive property tax dollars associated with this levy. I thank you for your time again this evening. I will take any questions that the board may have.
Board members, any questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Board members, anyone interested in a 10 or 15-minute comfort break? No? No? Okie dokie. Let's do it then. Here we go. Consent items. As a note to those in attendance, both virtually and in person, some of these items have been vetted through the Board Operations Committee, which is why there may not be a need for a new discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items? So moved. Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Who was second? Okay. Thomas? Aye. McKindy? Aye. Zettler? Aye. Burkett? Aye. Fiorentino? Aye. Gauthier? Aye. Scarpino?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Item number 11, the roll call action items. I will read each item individually. 11.1, approval of advertising sponsorship agreement. Do I have a motion for the approval of the advertising sponsorship agreement?
So moved.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
McKindy,
Aye.
Gothier. Thomas. Scarpino,
Aye.
Zettler. Burkett, aye. Fiorentino.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.2, approval of copier paper bid. May I have a motion for the approval of the copier paper bid?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Zettler.
Aye.
McKindy,
Aye.
Fiorentino,
Aye.
Thomas. Scarpino.
Aye.
Gothier. Burkett, aye. Motion passes 7-0.
11.3, approval of music equipment bid. May I have a motion for the approval of the music equipment bid?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Zettler.
Aye.
McKindy,
Aye.
Gothier.
Aye.
Thomas. Scarpino.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Burkett, aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.4, approval of trade labor bid extension. May I have a motion for the approval of the trade labor bid extension?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Burkett, aye. Zettler.
Aye.
Thomas. Scarpino.
Aye.
McKindy,
Aye.
Gothier.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.5, approval of work order facility rental software contract renewal. May I have a motion for the approval of the work order facility rental software contract renewal?
So moved.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
McKindy,
Aye.
Thomas. Zettler.
Aye.
Fiorentino. Burkett, aye. Gothier.
Aye.
Scarpino.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.6, approval of school interfund transfer resolution. May I have a motion for the approval of the school interfund transfer resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Burkett, aye. Fiorentino, or I'm sorry, Gothier.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Thomas. Scarpino.
Aye.
McKindy.
Aye.
Zettler.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.7, approval of tentative levy and resolutions and approval to publish public hearing notice. May I have a motion for the approval of the tentative levy and resolutions and approval to publish public hearing notice?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Zettler.
Aye.
Burkett, aye. Gothier.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Scarpino.
Aye.
Thomas. McKindy.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. 11.8, approval to display proposed curriculum materials adoptions. May I have a motion for the approval to display proposed curriculum materials adoptions?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
McKindy.
Aye.
Fiorentino. Thomas. Zettler. Gothier.
Aye.
Scarpino.
Aye.
Burkett, aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item 12, board discussion. Any updates regarding the board operations committee?
Yes, the next meeting is December 4th at 4:30.
Okay. Item 12.2, board discussion. 12.2.1, IASB board resolutions.
Did anyone have any thoughts based on the feedback that we got from administration or your own readings on the resolutions, whether you wanted to recommend that we go with the recommendations from IASB or counter those, go against those?
I think the only thing that I was wondering is with the bus transportation one, like if we go against that, does that hurt other school districts that might, like if we vote for that, we don't have to adhere to that, like, but would it make it easier for other school districts that are smaller and struggling a little bit more to benefit?
Oh, because that was the bus driver, like they're
Yeah, where
changing
they're-
the qualifications
Yes,
for the
yeah.
bus drivers.
That was the only thing that I kind of was thinking about, but, I mean, I don't know, yeah.
And I believe the recommendation was, wasn't it to adopt that one? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
I think it was.
It was to adopt it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, actually. So, so you would be in favor of
Yeah.
that? Okay. I guess if anyone has any last-minute feedback, you just have to let me know before we vote on Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
Any board members have anything they want to share or talk about?
I just want to thank Christine for doing the work on this. I know it's time-consuming, it can be time-consuming, and she's going to spend a lot of time at the convention, sitting in delegate meetings, so thank you for doing it all.
Item 13, closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing, 1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, 2, parentheses 1, 2, litigation, 2, parentheses 11, and 3, security procedures, school building safety and security, and the use of personnel to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property, 2, parentheses 8. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Fiorentino?
Aye.
Thomas? McKindy?
Aye.
Burkett, aye. Zettler?
Aye.
Scarpino?
Aye.
Gauthier?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We'll be in closed session. We will not be taking any action in closed session. Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for everything you do for us. You
Yes,
guys doing a
thank
great
you.
job.